To start out, I'm on houseplans.com. We're going to use this to find a starting plan. Now, as we've talked about in class, you do not have to create the exact plan that you find. This is going to be a start. It's going to help us make sure we maintain proper proportions, make sure we include everything we need in this house, and help us to not make the mistakes that happened when we just try to create stuff on our own. So when I start out on house plans, I'm going to look at this thing at the top that looks like an ad for something else. This is actually their basic search. So what we want to do is, based on the client you chose, you're going to know how many bedrooms you need. Just to use an example, let's say you figured out you need 3 bedrooms. Most of us, when we look at it, go, okay, well, I need a 3-bedroom house. But if it had 4, that wouldn't be a problem. It might even be a benefit. So I'm going to go ahead and include both 3 and 4. 5 plus? Sure, why not? Bathrooms. Trust me when I say this, you're going to want to do 3, 3.5, and 4 plus. You don't want ones that have less than that for at least 3 people. Okay? Because some of these might be what are called half baths, where it's just the toilet and the sink. There's no bathing facilities whatsoever. Stories. For this project, we are doing 1 story. Now be cautious, because even when we click 1 story, the site will still show us plans with a basement. And sometimes some of those 3 bedrooms might be in the basement. So you do have to use your judgment as you evaluate. Okay? But this should help limit us to a more reasonable stack of plans to look at. Garages. Now it implies that you're picking 1, 2, or 3 plus garages. What they're actually asking is how many spots within a garage could you park a car. We're probably going to be looking at 2. We're not going to be scared of something that has 3 plus. So I'm going to fill out these basic requirements and click search plans. And it's going to return to me 3,000 possible results. So this is obviously not limiting enough. One of the things you'll know from the previous part of the assignment, where you had figured out that you have a limited amount of space that the house can sit, you're going to want to first make sure you're not looking at houses that would be outside of those limits. So the way to do that is you're going to set the max width at 70 and the max depth at 70. And after you type those in and hit enter, you'll notice my 3,000 results are now down to 773 results, which is a big reduction. I can then start to look at the stuff below this. So styles is about how the house looks. If you believe that based on who your client is, that they would appreciate a certain style, you can use that to further reduce what's going on. Again, it is going to show basement ones. I wish there was an option that more took some of those out. You might try, if you're having trouble, selecting something like slab or crawl space to try to eliminate some of the basement ones, but that should help. Structure type. We are looking at single family homes. I know this only kicks out 1 plan, but it helps me to make sure I don't accidentally pick that one. I then have some other features that, based on who my client is, I might use to limit them. If you're finding that a lot of the plans have bedrooms in the basement or something like that, you might try this main floor bedrooms one. So I'm going to go ahead and click that to further limit it. I'm now down to 155, again, starting from 3,000. I could also start to look at different outdoor features, anything else in here. If there are terms you're not sure of, you can Google them. I am going to actually change one and make a really solid recommendation that you're going to want a front entry garage. That will point your garage and your front door. Just looking at the second plan image right here, my garage door and my front door are both going to point towards the street. That's going to actually make one of our designs later on in the process a lot easier. I'm now down to 38. I don't need to look at all 38. I can kind of see what I'm getting at. A lot of 4-bed, 3 baths, 3.5 baths. Several of those are popping up. I can also look at the square footage. Now this is sorted by most popular. If what I'm trying to do is get the most square footage, I can actually sort these by that. So I'm going to sort them by that real quick. And now I've got this one. Now I can already see, based on the fact that there's a walkout basement, that some of that square footage is going to be downstairs. So I'm going to actually take a look at this second one here. So as I look at it, first off, you're going to notice that there's a plan number here. I strongly recommend starting a Google Doc and keeping track of the plan numbers that you think are solid possibilities. If you want to add the web address too, that would be fine, but keep track of that on kind of a notes sheet, because the plan number is how you can get back to this one. So you may have to scroll through a list of pictures to find the actual plan, okay? But here's what it is. So I've got the garage. I've only got 2 bedrooms on this level, and the other ones are upstairs. Now, this is a great way to show that sometimes those search terms don't work, okay? So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to change it back to most popular, because I've looked at some of these before, and these should be a much better options. So I'm going to go ahead and click this one here. When I look at my single story, I've got this. It's 63 feet from the front to the back, 48 feet from side to side. That does give me plenty of space to be inside of my 70 by 70 square. Okay, I've got the garage. I see bedroom 4 here. I got 2 and 3 there. Got number 1 here, which looks like it's going to be kind of the master bedroom. And I've got several other things that I like. So if I happen to like this one, now what I do like about this one is there's not a lot of bump ins and outs. I could even pull some of these walls out. So if I don't like the fact that the front door is kind of set back, I can make this one complete exterior wall really super easy. Okay. If I don't find that this living room is maybe quite big enough to my liking, I could bring this straight across and kind of include the porch as some of it. And again, this is where you do have the opportunity to make some changes. Okay, so let's just pretend that this is the house that I like. One of the things I'm going to do again is I'm going to write this plan number down and keep a link to it on that house project Google Doc sheet that I recommend that you keep. The second thing that I'm going to do is, while I'm at school, I'm going to go down to the search bar, and I'm going to type SNI, so that it gives me a tool called the snipping tool. And it's going to load. And it's going to load. What the snipping tool is going to allow me to do is actually take a picture and save a picture of this area right here. There we go. Now it comes up. And I am going to make sure to include the plan number and all dimensions that I see. So when I click new, my screen goes kind of white-ish, whitewashed out, and I'm going to include everything in the plan. Once I get this picture, I'm going to go File and Save As. I'm going to go into my H drive, which looks like my login name, into my architecture folder. And if I haven't already done so, make a house project folder where my this picture and my Revit file will live. And I'm going to save this with the plan number in the name. So I'm going to say house 513-2174. And I'm going to save that because, again, it keeps that plan number there. I know it seems like once you've saved the picture, you're really not going to have to worry about keeping track of this anymore. But there's a lot of folks who, after they've started their project, they want to go back and look at things. Okay? Again, this is just the start of it. You don't have to necessarily put the kitchen set up with the refrigerator in this corner. You'll be able to make some changes, flip things around, move things around. If one of the things that you needed was maybe this bedroom needs to become an office for one of the people to work in, you can actually exclude some of these walls and set this up as an office as opposed to a bedroom. Okay? All of that will be up to you. In the next video, I'll talk about how you can actually take the picture we just saved, bring it into Revit, and trace over the exterior and interior walls with the correct wall types to create your plan, as opposed to trying to draw them all by measurement, which is a really, really handy tool to use.